Welcome back to Daytime, everyone. Now, we've been focusing on all week at the International Home and Garden Show that's taking place at the International Center here in the city of Mississauga. So we've invited another go-getter, another professional, to say the least, to come on the show. So thank you so much, Sean Ryan. You're a master gardener, shall we call you, and the president of Fern Ridge Landscaping in Milton. So thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Now, aside from being at the International Home and Garden Show, you're actually partaking in an actual project that's called Edward's Garden.
Yes.
Now, I love this story. Could you let our viewers know exactly what it's about?
Sure, it's pretty amazing. It's a young fellow named Edward who has a spinal atrophy, and he hasn't been able to enjoy his yard, and of all the wishes that he could have made, he wished for a landscape. So we're building it at the show, and it's there for everybody to see and all the initiatives that are involved in that. And then when the show is done, the whole thing, lock, stock, and barrel, is being moved to his house and rebuilt there.
Well, that's amazing, and just goes to show how the community will get together and actually help this man's wish, or this child's wish, shall I say. This is his through the Make-A-Wish Foundation,
yes.
right? So
yeah, exactly.
what a way it is. Now, being that it's done at the actual show, how will this kind of affect the project? I mean, will it make it bigger and better, maybe? Probably
well,
challenge you since you have an audience, right?
It'll certainly bring attention to the foundation itself and all the good that they do. And it also obviously educates the public about what can be done in the landscape. The whole thing is wheelchair accessible. Obviously, that's the whole point. But it's also environmentally friendly. There's all kinds of different things in it that are eco-friendly. From the wood that's there is southern yellow pine, which is decay resistant, and then it's heat treated, so it's almost it will last for 30 years or so.
Really, that's a really long time for a deck to last.
It's almost like it's petrified.
Right.
It's almost like petrified wood. And then all the plantings are drought tolerant as well, with some native plants mixed in, and there's solar lighting. It's pretty incredible, everything that's in there.
I'm sure, and I'm sure he's going to actually love the finished product. Now, have you met Edward himself?
I haven't had a chance myself. I will next week when we start doing the build there, which is going to be pretty amazing. Me and my crew are all actually really excited about that.
Yeah. The amazing thing is, though, is that this is like kind of his last wish, right? When it comes to making that final wish, or whatever you want to call it, usually like tends to be through the roof, right? A lot of people are like, oh, I can't even do that, but this must be really special to him.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm sure you've realized that by just working on the project.
Yeah.
And now, why did you choose to actually join in on it?
Oh, well, Carson Arthur, who designed the garden, he and I know each other well, and we've worked together before, so he knew that we like to help out the community as much as possible. So he brought us in on the project, on the build at the International Show and on the build at Edward's house. So that's how we became a part of the whole thing.
That's fantastic, and I'm sure that's going to be a great story. I'm sure our viewers love that. Now, you brought some props for us here on our coffee table back here. Let us know how this incorporates into home and gardening.
Yeah, it doesn't look very gardeny, does it? What Atlas Stone is doing, all the paving stones and all the wall stones there are made by Atlas Stone, and what they're doing is taking glass that would have gone to the landfill, so wine bottles that aren't recyclable, and they're grinding it up, and then it's made into these little pellets, and then those pellets are used in place of some of the gravel that would be sort of taken out of the escarpment and used in the stone. So you're not only taking stuff out of the landfill, but you're stopping as much stone from being taken out of the surrounding escarpment, out of the wilderness and so on.
That's amazing. So you would just replace the stone with that?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's just a lower percentage of actual natural stone aggregate, and there's a higher percentage of these glass beads.
Okay,
and it looks just the same.
And what is that to the left? That's beads as well?
These are the beads. They take the glass,
right,
and they grind it up, and they make it into these beads.
Oh, that's what it becomes.
Yeah,
I got you. I thought they were just going to stay like that. So in my head, I'm like, is that not dangerous?
Yeah, no. And then that's the stone. So it looks just like any other interlocking stone.
That's amazing. Now, how did this concept even come about?
Well, everybody nowadays is looking at everything that they can do to be more environmentally friendly. So we've got people using vegetables in their landscapes. We've got people creating permeable paving so that the water flows through instead of flowing into the sewers right away and works its way into the ground. We've got people creating habitats, landscapes to bring wildlife into the garden. And then now we're starting to realize that if you do that, then the wildlife takes care of the pests, so you have fewer problems that way.
Right. Now, so are you suggesting that the greener we go, even outside the home to the garden, the longer, let's say, the sustainability of your garden will last?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And it's incredible the demand that's showing for it. I mean, there's people like myself who've been pushing for years, and then all of a sudden, both in the industry and in the public, everybody's ready. It's incredible. We're getting so many requests, and if there's a talk going on, Carson's giving a talk today at noon and at 4 on how green is your garden. And it used to be you'd have a few people there, and now it's just packed, and everybody's interested, and there's lots of questions. Yeah, it's somebody flipped a switch, and I'm very happy about it.
Well, it's a fantastic thing. Everybody loves gardening, especially when spring arrives, right? I mean, that's the first thing, the usual thing that everybody will start thinking about. When thinking about a garden, let's say for somebody who doesn't garden too much, but wants to kind of incorporate a garden into their home, what do you suggest or recommend for them?
Well, obviously everybody asks about low maintenance.
Right.
So you don't want to get anything that you have to do a lot of pruning on and so on. If you pick things that are native, and not that that's necessarily the be-all end-all, but if you pick things that are native, they're adapted to the local climate, and they're usually fairly low maintenance. You don't have to water them a lot. Cutting water use is a very big deal. And you want to really combine texture and form. It's not about flowers. Flowers come and go. Texture will make or break your landscape. And that's really the big lesson that I try and get across. All these eco-friendly options, they don't have to be ugly. The permaculture, the edible landscape that we did, it's not rows of vegetables. It's drifts of vegetables with color and form and texture contrasting each other. You apply the same tools, and it can be just as lovely.
And what about for people who kind of like to even incorporate lighting to their garden, right? I mean, there's always solar lights, right? A lot of people tend to forget that.
No, we've got solar lights in Edward's garden that are from Free Light, and they're actually really lovely. And they cast a good light. It's amazing how far it's come in the last little while. And there's also new LED technologies, and the price is coming down dramatically. It's making night lighting, which is one of the things everybody should do, because it adds so many hours. You know, in Canada, it's dark 8 months of the year.
Exactly, and
when
you definitely
leave
want to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
And I think it looks beautiful, in my opinion, especially when you
stunning.
put it around the home and stuff like that. It's amazing how much it'll change the appearance of the house. So that's what we're talking about, is Edward's Garden. You can see that's a great story. If you want to go check out the actual the project that's going to be in Edward's Garden, go down to the International Center here in the city of Mississauga. We're going to have Sean Ryan there. He's there until April 3rd at the International Home and Garden Show. You'll want to check him out. Stay tuned. Lots more to come after the break.